There are so many videos out there on how successful entrepreneurs manage their time, how to have more time in a day as a CEO, how rich people manage their calendars. And it's all perfectly fine. But what if you are a solopreneur who's trying to do it all by yourself, managing a team, managing a family, managing your own new business, potentially still doing your 9 to 5 job and running your senior corporate role, and you're trying to squeeze it all in just 24 hours. Then this video is perfect for you. As someone who walked the talk myself and who was juggling family, 2 children, one of them being just 2 year old, full-time corporate senior role, and building her own business for 12 months before I left corporate and went all in for my business, I'm going to share with you the strategies that absolutely worked for me and work for my clients that will reduce your overwhelm, that will make your life joyful and joyfully productive and help you execute daily to build a life full of freedom and purpose as a solopreneur. We'll cover 4 critical areas: clarity, structure, boundaries, and balance. Let's dive in. Chapter 1: Clarity. Before we talk about managing time, we need to talk about managing direction. Because the biggest time management mistake I see that early stage coaches and consultants make is spending time on tasks that actually do not move their business forward. Your time is your only non renewable business asset. As an early stage coach or consultant, you have something that established practices don't have: flexibility and potential. But you also have something extremely limited: time. American jazz icon Miles Davis once said, "Time isn't the main thing, it's the only thing." Think about it. When you're just starting out, you can't throw money at problems. You can't hire a team. You can't outsource your client delivery. All you have is your 168 hours per week, and probably only a fraction of those are actually available for your business. That is why clarity is so critical. Every hour you spend on wrong activity is an hour you can't get back. Before you start managing your time effectively, you need to answer 4 fundamental questions. Number 1, what does success look like for you in the next 12 months? Be specific with it. Landing 5 paying clients, generating 5,000 per month in revenue, building an email list of 1,000 people, establishing yourself as a thought leader in your niche. Most early stage coaches say, "I want to grow my business," without defining what growing your business actually means. Without a clear target, you'll waste your time on activities that feel productive but potentially won't even move the needle. Question number 2: what are 3 or 5 core activities that will get you to where you want to be? To the question that you define as in point number 1. This is crucial because the outputs and the key performance indicators of your success that you have outlined for yourself in point number 1 are truly dependent on the inputs that you will make. You can't control the outputs, but you can always control inputs. In the early stages, your business growth most likely depends on a handful of high impact activities. And for most coaches and consultants, these include: first, having discovery calls with potential clients. Second, creating content that demonstrates your expertise. Third, building relationships and networking. Fourth, delivering exceptional results for your clients. And fifth, refining or developing your offer stack. Notice what's not on the list: perfecting your website, creating huge crazy funnels, spending hours on social media, or attending every single networking event. This might feel important, but they are rarely the things that really move the needle, and rarely the things that will going to bring you revenue in the first 6 to 12 months. Question number 3, what is your current reality? How many hours per week do you actually have available for your business? If you're building your business while working full time, you might have 10 or 15 maximum hours per week. If you have young children, maybe you will go even less than that, 5 to 10 hours. So you got to be brutally honest here. This reality check is essential because it forces you to be strategic and to be intentional. If you only have 10 hours per week in your diary, it's what I had when I started building my business on the side. You literally cannot afford to spend 3 hours tweaking your logo or trying to perfect your colors of your website. You need to be spending those critical hours on the things that really bring revenue to your business, which is talking to potential customers, doing DMs, connecting with your prospects, and working on your offer. And question number 4, if you want to add something, you have to drop something first. What shall you drop? I had a conversation with one of my clients. She's been doing amazing work and she made 20,000 euros in the last few months after we started working together. But because it is her first year and the funding is limited, she has a lot on her plate and she's doing a lot of things by herself. She messaged me that she wants to explore potentially doing podcasts. and potentially doing some retreats. And when we spoke, I said to her, you already feel overwhelmed with everything that you currently have on your plate. You can't be adding more things without dropping something. And this is something that's known as shiny object syndrome. When you are starting, you think that you should be doing this, and then you want to do YouTube, and then you want to do podcasts, and then you want to do another networking event, and then you potentially want to do a retreat, before understanding that for the first 2 years, what matters the most is your essentials. First, your lead generation activities, which is a lot of outreach, a lot of work, a lot of conversations, a lot of calls. Second, it's refining your offer again and again and again to make sure your offer is the best tailored to your ideal customer's problems. 3, servicing your customer in the best possible way to get a lot of testimonials in order for you to build the brand and to start getting good reputation and to start getting referrals. That's going to create leverage that will help you to move your business forward. It's not about doing more things. It's about doing old essential things that are working more and better. Now let's talk about the daily maintenance versus daily growth framework. Let me introduce you to a framework that I use with all my coaching clients. Daily maintenance are the activities required to keep your business running day to day, responding to emails, scheduling calls, social media posting, maintenance level, managing your calendar. These are the things that are necessary and have to be done, but they don't grow your business, they maintain it. And usually they are low value activities. And there are daily growth activities. These are the activities that will take your business to the next level. Having sales conversations with potential clients, which at the start of your business should be where you shall be spending majority of your time. It's creating content that attracts your ideal clients, not just posting for the sake of posting, but truly thinking about the content pillars and the copy that you're writing in order for clients to come to you, the right clients to come to you and buy from you. It's about building and refining your signature offer stack based on the client's feedback. It's about building strategic partnerships. It's about developing new skills that directly impact your client result. It's about working on that lead magnet or program you've been planning. Whatever entrepreneur you're going to talk to who made it in the first few years, they will tell you that 90% of your time at the start should be spent at business growth activities, which is usually lead generation activities. Because the truth that we forget about is when we start our business, no one knows we exist. But what I see happening instead of that is that I see early stage consultants and coaches, who are majority of my clients, spend 90% of their time on business maintenance activities, on the activities that do not help them grow. They're responding to every single email, they're perfecting their Instagram feed, they're organizing their files, but instead, what they should be doing is spending first few hours in a day on messaging potential prospects and starting conversations. Usually the main reason why you're not doing that is because it feels hard. But let me tell you the lesson that I learned over the last year is that whatever feels hard is probably the right thing to do and what you should be doing as a priority, because probably that thing will give you the highest leverage that you then later can use in order for you to grow and boost your business. Chapter number 2, structure. Now that you have clarity on where you're going, let's talk about structure. Because hope is not a strategy, and I'll work on my business when I have time is a recipe for staying stuck. Why most coaches fail at time management? Let me tell you that what I see happening with early stage coaches and consultants is that they're incredibly intentional about their client delivery. They block time for client calls, they prepare for sessions, they show up on time and fully present. But when it comes to working on their business rather than in their business, the activities that will actually bring new clients, they operate on a very different level and they operate on hope. I'll post on social media when I get time. I'll reach out to a potential client when I'm feeling energized. I'll work on my lead magnet this weekend or if nothing else comes up. And guess what? Time never appears. Energy never materializes. Something always comes up. The coach consultants who succeed are the ones who treat their business building activities with the same seriousness as their client commitments. They schedule them, they protect them, they show up for them. So now let's talk about the power of scheduling and the discipline that really helps me to achieve a lot without burning out or without chasing my tail. If I had to identify one thing that changed my productivity more than anything else, it would be this. It would be treating my business building time as non-negotiable appointments with myself. Research shows that when you work from a schedule rather than just from a to-do list, you can increase your productivity by 25%. But for early stage coaches, the impact is even greater. Why? Because you are fighting against limited time, competing priorities, and a natural human tendency to avoid uncomfortable and difficult tasks, which is sales and building visibility. When you schedule a client call, you show up. You don't reschedule it because you were tired or just because something more comfortable came along. You honor that commitment. Your business growth activities deserve the same treatment. So I want to suggest to you 3 approaches to structuring your week. There is no one-size-fits-all approach to scheduling, especially when you're building a coaching or consulting business alongside other commitments. But here are 3 frameworks that work well for early-stage coaches and consultants. So you can pick and choose one or a blend of 3 that's going to work specifically for you. Approach number 1, the theme day method. Instead of trying to do everything every day, dedicate specific days or parts of days to specific business functions. Mondays, you spend on content creation and thought leadership. Wednesdays and Thursdays, you spend on sales activities and relationship building. Fridays, client delivery and program development. Saturdays, strategic planning and skill development. The advantage is that you can get into a flow state more easily when you're not constantly context switching. When Wednesday arrives, your brain knows today is sales day. I'm reaching out to leads and having conversations. Approach number 2, the daily time block method. This is the approach that works if you have consistent pockets of time throughout the week. You can do a little bit of everything each day, but it's specifically protected time. This is my preferred method and the thing that works for me really well. Let me give you an example of how it can look like for you. Early morning, you block your deep work on your offer program or content creation. Midday block, you spend on sales activities. Evening block, you spend on client calls or business development, posting content and engaging with people. The advantage is that you maintain momentum across all areas of your business and you don't get bored just by doing one thing at a day. Approach number 3, the minimum viable schedule. This is for those with extremely limited or unpredictable time. Maybe you have other significant commitments or factors that make consistent scheduling very difficult. Instead of trying to schedule every business activity, identify your absolute minimum, the baseline that keeps your business moving forward. For example, 1 3-hour block per week. Your biggest business growth focus this week might be working on your lead magnets or messaging prospects or drafting your B2B proposal. So spend those 3 hours on just focusing specifically on that big business breakthrough. The advantage of this approach is even in the messiest weeks, you maintain forward momentum, and when you have extra time, you can then scale up. So which approach shall you choose? The one that you actually stick to. Start with what feels most aligned with your current reality. Commit to it for 4 weeks at least before jumping to another one. Then assess and adjust. Another thing that's really important is batching. This is your efficiency multiplier. One of the biggest time wasters for early stage coaches and consultants is constant context switching. You respond to one email, then you write a paragraph of content, then check social media, then work on your offer, then respond to another email. Every time you switch tasks, your brain needs time to refocus. Psychologists call it switching cost, and it can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. The solution would be to batch similar activities together. What to batch? Content creation. Instead of writing one post at a time throughout the week, dedicate 2 or 3 hours to creating all your content for the week or even for the month. I try to batch prepare my content all the time. You will find your creative flow and produce better content in less time. I usually write at least 4 LinkedIn posts, at least 3 YouTube scripts when I sit down and I'm in that creative flow mode. You can also batch sales outreach. Block out one session for all your prospects activities, sending connection requests, writing outreach messages, following up with the leads. When you are in that sales mode, you can move through these activities with momentum. I usually have 3-hour block midday for this. Then you can batch email and admin prep. Rather than checking your email every 15 minutes, you can check it in the morning and then later in the afternoon. Chapter 3, the art of saying no. Here is what happens once you start scheduling your business building time. Everyone and everything will try to take it away. So you will need to learn to say no to people and things. No to temptations and distractions disguised as opportunities. Your friend wants to meet for a coffee during your content creation block. Your day job wants you to work late on your business development evening. Your family needs something during your strategic planning time. This is where most early stage coaches and consultants fail. They give up their scheduled business time because they feel guilty or because someone else's urgency feels more pressing than their own business growth. And here is my honest advice to you. If you don't protect your business building time as your sacred time, you are choosing to stay stuck. This doesn't mean you are rigid or inflexible. It means you treat your business appointments with the same respect as you treat your client commitments. So how can you protect your schedule? Firstly, communicate boundaries. Let the people in your life know about your business building schedule. Tuesday and Thursdays are your evenings when you're working on your business growth. And unless it's an emergency, I'm not available during those times. I see it with my clients quite often: kids' commitments, school drop offs, camp preparations. It's okay if that happens once, but if you look back at the end of the week and you haven't done anything you planned to do just because life sucked you in, this is a problem. When I was juggling full-time work and building my business, I would take a payday off just to lock myself in a room when kids are in childcare and in school and work for 8 hours straight on my business essentials. I do the same now on the weekend, and my husband takes kids and spends 5 hours with them on Saturday, and I have noticed that I can get so much more done in those 5 focused hours. Another strategy that you can use, you can offer alternatives. Say, I can't meet Thursday evening, but I'm free Saturday morning. Would it work? Another strategy is that evaluate true urgency. Ask yourself, is this really urgent? Or is it that someone else's emergency becomes your priority? Most things can wait 2-3 days. And strategy number 4, track pattern interrupters. Notice what consistently disrupts your schedule. Is it always the same person, the same kind of requests? Once you identify your pattern, you can then address them proactively. The energy task alignment principle. Not all hours are created equal, especially when you are building a business on top of other commitments. You have high energy hours when you are mentally sharp, creative, and capable of complex thinking, and you have low energy hours when you're tired, distracted, or running on fumes. The mistakes most early stage entrepreneurs make, they schedule their most important business activities during their worst energy slots. Match your tasks to your energy. High energy windows used for sales conversations and discovery calls, creating your offer programs, thinking about your content you want to write, being in creative mode. Low energy blocks used for admin, for checking the emails, for checking social media, for some commenting, or for some other low value activity. So here is an action step for you for the next week. Track your energy levels throughout the day. Notice when you feel most alert, creative, and focused. That's when you should schedule your most important business building activities. The reality check: when your schedule falls apart. You will have weeks when everything goes according to the plan, and there will be weeks when everything falls apart. The difference between coaches and consultants who succeed and who give up is not that successful coaches have perfect schedules. It's that they have a systems for getting back on track really fast. When you miss scheduled business growth activity, don't spiral. One missed session doesn't ruin your business. Beating yourself up about it wastes more time than the missed session itself. But there is one principle that I learned from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Skipping a habit once is just a mistake or an accident, but missing it twice signals the start of a new habit. And if you know you are continuously skipping doing some business growth activities, and usually the ones that feel really hard, such as messaging prospects or putting yourself out there, ask yourself, what is the emotion that you're avoiding, and deal with it. Probably, most likely, it's the fear of rejection. And I spoke about how to deal with the fear of rejection in one of my early videos on this channel. I'm going to put the link up here. So check it out. Your business won't grow in the moments you find time. It will grow in the moments you make time for it and you show up for yourself, for your growth. With the same commitment, you show up for others. Chapter 4, balance versus integration. Here is what nobody tells you about building a coaching or consulting business. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So you will have to learn to integrate your crazy, messy initial days of building your business with all other aspects of your life. Because if you don't, you will end up losing what matters the most, and probably why you started business in the first place, which is your family, people who you truly matter in your life, your freedom, and your joy. There are so many people saying that when you start building your business, you don't have to work harder, you have to work smarter. This is not true. You will need to do both. You will need to work hard and you will need to work smart. You will probably need to spend more hours initially than you spent in your corporate role. But in all honesty, even though I do that and I sometimes do crazy hours, it doesn't feel like work to me. I do get tired, of course, and that is why I always prioritize recovery as responsibly as the work itself. But I want to encourage you to not seek balance in your early days of business, but to seek integration, joyful integration. How you can joyfully integrate relationships, family, your fitness, your well-being with the business you're building and with some of your financial goals as well. Because by doing that, you will be thriving holistically and you will have more energy to overcome rejection, to survive the early days or when nothing feels like it's working, to keep going, to keep executing despite the tough moments and still be mentally okay. Your business thrives when you thrive. Never forget that. Remember, you don't need to be perfect at time management to build a successful business. You just need to be intentional, consistent, and willing to prioritize what truly matters. Next week, I will talk to you about the framework that has helped me to prioritize the things in my business when everything seemed to be urgent. When you don't have 10 people who you can delegate to, when you don't have the team that can support you along the way, and yet you still have to deliver everything at once. Feel free to subscribe and press that bell notification button for you not to miss that video next week, as it will help you to start getting more results with less busyness. See you next week on the other side. With care, Anna.